Hi everyone, Libros here, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by Riverside FM. What is Riverside FM? Riverside FM is an all-in-one recording and editing platform created for creators and podcasters like myself. Like, quite literally, without Riverside, I would not be able to bring to you the podcast and episodes every week, as this is the platform that I use to connect with guests and record episodes. It's such of an amazing tool that has saved me so much time to produce episodes and bring them to you every week with an easy to use online studio and suite of AI tools where you can create clips for social media and so much more. If you are a fellow creator or podcaster like myself and would like to check out Riverside FM, then head to the link in the show notes of this episode where you can get 15% off your subscription. And please let me know how you get on using the platform. I would love to hear your experience using Riverside. As I said, it's been a game changer for me in bringing to you these episodes every week. Now, in terms of episodes, in this episode, I'm joined by the founder of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas, who is quite the character, as you will hear or see in this episode of the show. We discuss his concept of the art of allowance and what this means for our day-to-day lives. So without further ado, let's dive into my conversation with Gary Douglas. Gary, welcome to the podcast, Raising Consciousness. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Lou?
I'm very well, thank you. So what do you do, Gary? Like, what is your work rooted in and why does it matter?
Everything I do is about creating more consciousness in the world, because I think if we were more conscious and chose consciousness instead of trying to get ahead or whatever it is we have decided is more important, we would not be willing to destroy the earth to get what we want. We'd actually be willing to work with the earth to create a greater possibility. And that's what I want to do, is create a greater possibility for me and everybody else. I'm 82. I still work every day. I work anywhere from 6 to 12 hours a day. Why? Because I can. I run 16 businesses around the world, and I don't see any reason not to. And everybody else goes, you should retire. What? We have a castle in Italy, and I went there and I sat on this bench, and then back feet went into the ground about 8 inches, and it tipped me out and laid me against a brick wall. And I hit the back of my head and I hurt my body, and I went, oh, Jesus Christ. Now what am I going to do? So I called my friend Dane over. He lifted me out. He helped me up so I could get up. And then I was like kind of tweaked for about 3 days. But it's like my room, my personal room, is in the 4th story of the castle. So I had to go up 4 flights of stairs to get to the thing. And I kept doing it every day with my cane, and I'd come down every day and I'd do all this stuff. And everybody says, well, why'd you do that? And I said, well, why wouldn't I? And they said, well, people your age go to the hospital when they fall down. I said, why? I'm not going to fall down and go to the hospital. It's like, come on, I'm still functional. I'm not destitute. I'm not anything. So I don't desire to go to the hospital. I have no interest in that. And I don't. And I fell. I didn't go to the hospital. I got up and took care of myself. And that's what I believe we should all do, is get up and take care of ourselves. When you fall down, get up, dust yourself off, and get going again. That's the way I live.
In terms of consciousness and the work that you do, what does consciousness mean?
Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. Most people judge everything and do nothing. I will do anything and I will judge nothing. I don't have judgment of things. It's like, in order to judge something, you have to have been there and done it. So the only way you can judge anything is if you've been there and done it. You can judge it. But if you haven't, how can you? Different possibilities exist.
And how does consciousness relate to, like, if we have somebody listening or watching this right now and maybe they're not familiar with the concept of consciousness and they're coming across this for the first time,
the thing is,
how
if
would
you're
you
doing
describe
judgment,
that?
you're not doing conscious. If you're doing judgment, you're not doing consciousness. So you got to be willing to look at, what am I judging? And go, okay, and I'm judging this for what reason? I remember I had this point of view that turbans were ugly, stupid things. And I was watching this man on YouTube watching one of my programs and doing it. I went, wow, what a great man. And he is a great man. I've just gotten to know him since, and he's just a great, great person. And he's a Sikh. And so that's part of the way they live is wearing that. It's like you wear a cap, but if I said caps are ugly, then I'd offend you, right? So I won't say that the turban is ugly, nor will I say a cap is ugly. It's like it's just a choice. It's what you wear. It's what you do. So I have a different point of view than most people, and I'm looking for how do I create more in the world so that the world is an easier place for all of us to live. Life should be about the ease of living, not about the difficulties of living. And most people look for the difficulties to determine that they have overcome some obstacle that now allows them to live in a better place. Okay, that looks better. I don't look like an old man with teeth.
How do people live consciously?
By choosing. See, it's like the thing is, you got to get real consciousness and real creation is when you choose. If you choose, you are creating. Choice creates. And if you function from choice creates, what am I choosing here? What is this going to create becomes a different point of view. You start looking at what you can create by every choice you make, you begin to realize, okay, what choice am I doing here? So when I looked at, it's like I looked at my judgment of turbans and I went, why do I have a judgment of turbans? And then I recalled that my mother during the 50s, and so you're too young to remember the 50s. So it's like in the 50s, women would put these little turbans on their heads to put their curlers in so they could go to the store with curlers in their hair. And they were ugly. I went, those are ugly. But turbans that people wear as part of their Sikhdom, it's like, no, that's not ugly. That's just the way, that's part of their wardrobe of presentation. It's like we have wardrobes of presentation. Like you have a wardrobe of presentation on right now. Do you have on a collared shirt or do you have on a t-shirt?
T-shirt.
Yes, but you can wear a t-shirt because you're young enough.
Mm.
I don't look good in a t-shirt. I look like the old person I am. So I wear a collared shirt so people will not know how old I am. How's that for fun?
What would you say to someone who thinks that they don't have choice?
I think they've been brainwashed.
And
Yeah,
how do they
we've
and
been
how do they
brainwashed to
undo that
believe. We've all
brainwashing?
been. Well, the brainwashing is done by watching TV. It's done by listening to commercials. It's done by watching, watching the YouTubes and by seeing all the posts that there are on your phone. I mean, all these people have phones and they're all doing selfies and it's like, and all they're trying to do is show that they have a better life than somebody else. What's better about my life? My life includes everything and judges nothing. I enjoy every moment of my life. I hear all kinds of amazing things. Just talked to a guy yesterday who has been working with a wild animals sanctuary here in town. And after some of the recent storms, we had a whole lot of babies that were misplaced. And so they have like possums and squirrels and stuff that they need to put out in nature again. And I realized, hey, I've got a bayou behind my house. I can just turn them loose there. I mean, more squirrels just is perfect because if I get hungry, I can go out and shoot them and eat them. Kidding.
Um, your book, The Art of Allowance, I believe it's called.
Yes. It's the
Talk
gift
to
of
us through
allowance.
the book. Why did you decide to write it? Why did you decide to focus on allowance? And what does that actually mean as well? Like when we're talking about
Allowance
allowance,
is,
what are we talking about?
well, the thing is if you saw life as a stream, it's like if you align and agree with a point of view or you resist and reactive point of view, you get washed away in the stream of reality. And the stream of reality is this is good, this is bad, this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing, and all these judgmental points of view. When you're in allowance, it's just an interesting point of view. When you do allowance, all kinds of amazing things happen. We bought the house next door to us and we just had the garage catch on fire thanks to lithium batteries. Don't buy lithium batteries, my personal point of view. But the lithium batteries they put into the garage and they exploded into flames. It burned up two of my classic cars, which I was devastated by. But now it looks like the insurance company is going to pay to do 90% of what we were doing as a restoration of that house over there. They're going to put up 90% of the money for it. It's going to be great.
How does allowance feed into what we were talking about beforehand with choice? Because some people might think that if we're allowing them, we're giving up our choice and we're being passive. So, like, what's the different? Like, what's the
No, it's not
relationship?
passive. Yeah, you're not passive. You're not a doormat when you're an allowance. Allowance is interesting point of view, but that doesn't give you the right to stomp on me, nor me the right to stomp on you. Yeah, if I tried to make you see that you wearing a cap was stupid, would that be allowance or would that be interesting point of view or would that be an alignment agreement or resistance reaction? It would be an polarity, positive or negative, not allowance. Allowance is it's just what's there. You wear a cap. Are you ugly? No. Are you pretty? You might be better without a cap. I don't know. I haven't seen you without a cap. So I will just always have you in my image as a cap-ridden person. Your cap rides you.
Definitely better with a cat. um,
Yeah.
in my opinion, anyway. So what are some of the fundamentals within the book? Like, what can people learn from the book?
Well, if you can look at things as what they are, and you basically, there's 4 questions you can use in life to make your life easier. What is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? So those 4 questions will take care of pretty much anything in your life. What is this? This is a burned out garage. What do I do with it? Change it. How do I change it? I don't know. But the insurance company is going to give me a quote on what I can spend and how I can do it. So it's like it's determining a future. And it's like if your future is determined by the questions you ask, then as long as you're in question, you're creating a future. If you come to an answer, that's the conclusion, the end of your future. And people don't get that. It's like they're looking to have a life instead of live. To live is an action. To have a life is you're done, it's past tense. It's like you're all complete. I personally don't like completion. I like possibilities. I like looking at a different reality and a different possibility always.
What does possibility mean to you?
Possibility means that, it's like what will this choice create? What will I create by this choice? It's like somebody said, well, do you have to have that when you chew gum? I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, if I chew gum and I pull out a cavity, have I made a choice and did that create some difference in my future? Yes, now I have to go to the dentist. So it's like, I don't know what my choice is going to create until I choose it. Once I choose it, then I will begin to see where my choice is taking.
And what would you say to someone they make a choice but they don't like the choice and then they believe that they're stuck in the choice, if that makes sense? So they're scared
You
of like
cannot
making
be
another
stuck in a
choice
choice
in
if you
terms of
live your
it's the
life
wrong
in
choice.
10-second increments. See, I live life in 10-second increments. For this 10 seconds, I'm unhappy. For this 10 seconds, now what? You know, and I function from now what almost all the time. I'm always going for what else is possible and what other choice do I have here? Because you always have choice. It's the one thing God gave us is the power to choose. And we all try to find a reason not to choose or find the right choice or a judged choice or judgmental choice. And it's never something that gives you a clarity about what you really want. You got to get to that place where you're willing to have clarity about what you're trying to create. Be clear about what you create. I have a friend he's gay and he falls in love regularly, usually with somebody who looks like you. And it's like, and he goes, I fucked up. I lost them. I said, you didn't fuck up. You didn't commit to them when they needed a commitment. But he said he didn't want a commitment. I said, that doesn't mean anything. Somebody not really wanting a commitment believes in destiny. If they believe in destiny, they're waiting for a set of circumstances that will determine what is actually possible instead of choosing what they can create. I said, you've got to create what you want to do, and you got to get clear about what you want to create. Not come to this conclusion that this is the one you lost, because you spend more time looking at what you lost than you did at what you got.
How do people
If
get
you had
clear on
fallen in
what they
love with
want?
this guy and said, I want a commitment from you, or I want to have more time with you, but you said, oh, it's fine. We'll have no commitment. We'll have no commitment. We'll have no commitment. Then he found somebody who would not do, I don't want to have a commitment. That person said they wanted to have a commitment, so that person, he decided that person was the person he must love. Which I hate to say it, I don't think it's going to work out for the poor kid, but he'll probably come back to my friend. But my friend will give up his whole life to make him happy. You know, if you really want a good relationship, get somebody who'll give up their whole life for you.
How do people get clear on what they want?
By choosing. Every time you choose, you become aware of something. Your choice creates awareness. Choice creates awareness. Choice creates awareness. Choice creates awareness. It creates possibility. It creates questions. It creates everything. Every time you choose, you become aware of different possibilities. When you choose, you become aware that this is not the only choice. If I want to buy a car, how many choices do I have? Thousands. Thousands of them. How do I determine which car I'd like to have? I want a car that looks like this, or it drives like this, or, works like this. That's fine. But you got to have that place where you're willing to look and go, this is the kind of car I want. This is what I'm interested in. And you've got to look at that. See, I like convertibles, but I live in Texas. Too friggin' hot for a convertible. But you live in the UK, and it's too friggin' cold and wet for a convertible in the UK. So people don't do convertibles that much there. You don't do much in convertibles here in Texas, except me. I like them. So I just have to use them with the top up a lot and the air conditioning on because it gets too friggin' hot here. But Texas is a world of extremes. Everything's extreme. I love it because here you have the people, you go out to lunch and they've got the air conditioner set at 60. You walk inside, you're friggin' freezing. You walk outside, it's 120, and you go, it's like, but people like it. And okay, fine. If this is what you like, this is the choice. I like it here in Houston because it's got a good airport and I can get out of here and go anywhere in the world. And I travel a lot, Sting. It's like I'm 82 and I'm still traveling. I have friends who are 60 and they say, oh, I don't travel anymore. Why not? It's too hard on this old body. I said, huh, interesting. I said, well, all I do is plan 2 days ahead and, take an extra couple of days. Not that hard. That's like I found that I can catch up if I have 2 extra days. So I try to do 2 extra days ahead and 2 extra days behind in order to balance out the effects of plane traveling. You can tell more when you get older about how travel affects your body. When you're young, it feels like nothing. You would think traveling, to the United States would be like, oh, that's a piece of cake, right? But you're 29 or 28 or whatever it is. It's like for you, that's nothing. It's like you don't think that has any effect. But when you're my age, it has way more effect.
Hmm.
Hey, you're 28. I'm 82. We're reversed.
We are, Gary. In terms of choice, are we always making a choice, even if we don't consciously know we're making a choice?
You're making a choice when you make no choice.
Hmm.
When you choose not to choose, you're making a choice. I'm not going to choose this. Have you ever had a girlfriend or a boyfriend that you loved?
I had a girlfriend, yes.
A girlfriend, okay. I was just trying to be politically correct. I didn't ask you about your sexual picadillos, what you like. And it's like, for me, it's like, okay, so what is it you want? So when you decide that you want to marry this person, I was getting up there in age before I got married. I was 35 before I got married the first time. And I had done courses on marriage and stuff because I never found anybody that I really thought I wanted to spend my life with. And so I did a course and said, you've got to write down all the things you want in someone that you love. So I did that. And I found the girl that was matched all those things. She was great. She was wonderful. She was beautiful. And she was insane. And I married her. And then I realized, okay, I said all the things I wanted and I got all those, but I didn't say all the things I did not want. And I got all those too. As my second wife, I was much smarter. I did the things I didn't want and the things I did want, and I got both of those. except for one slight mistake. I said I wanted somebody who would fight life's battles with me. I meant alongside me. I didn't say alongside me. So my second wife fought every one of life's battles with me. So we were always fighting. We were always in conflict. We were constantly, battling. And to this day, she still is always fighting with me about everything. We're divorced, so I got 2 divorces to my thing. And I went, okay, enough. I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to try and find the person to live with. I'm going to live with somebody I have known and not loved totally, me. And so I live with me and I love me and I have a great time and my life is fun. And it's like I'm having more fun at 82 than I had when I was 34 when I was doing drugs, sex, rocks, and rolls all the time. I mean, I did more drugs, sex, and rock and roll than any other person I've ever known. And I thought it was fun. But now I have a different kind of life and it's always fun. I'm always having a new adventure, a new possibility, and a new choice. I still like my choices and I still choose.
Gary, what's your background in terms of your teaching? So where do your teachings and kind of this perspective you have,
Well,
where do you think it comes from?
I went to every church, cult, and religion I could find, tried all of them to find what was true. And I discovered that most of them would say, this is the truth, and they tell you to follow them. I go, I don't get that that's true. What is true? And what I discovered is that if you ask a question, you'll find out what's true for you. So I started asking questions, and in so doing, I discovered that every time you ask a question, you become more aware of something. So my status and things is to look for the question that will create the most possibility. What's going to create the greatest possibility in my life? What's going to create more, expand more, do something greater? Like one of the things we bought the house next door to us because the people over there had a air conditioning unit for their indoor swimming pool. Now, Texas is a place where it's very hot outside, and it's really nice to take a dip in a cool pool. And they had an indoor pool so that they could keep it air conditioned the entire time and air condition their entire house. They had a commercial air conditioner that was so loud, it sounded like you were sitting on the top of a 12-story building. And it was all in our backyard. And I didn't realize how noisy it was until we bought the house and turned it off. And and suddenly our backyard is quiet, serene, and beautiful. We didn't have a quiet, serene, and beautiful backyard when we started. Now we do. So we got rid of that air conditioner and turned the pool into a enclosed pool so that you can not have to worry about the insects or the birds and the bees or the flowers and the trees. You can just have waves of heat going through, or you can have the joy of swimming. And it's very nice to have an indoor pool. So to that degree, great. The other thing didn't work. So we got rid of the other thing that didn't work for us, and now our house is nicer. Then after we bought it, we decided, well, what are we going to do with this house? Well, we can sell it. But we can't sell it for what we paid for it because nobody's going to pay that because we paid market value. But if we lost $50,000 or $100,000 or $500,000, it was worth the difference in our backyard. The first night it was turned off, I got a peaceful sleep for the first time in living here 14 years. I didn't realize how noisy the thing was because I couldn't hear it loudly in my room, but it was an underlying roar and hum that went all the time. So now it's gone and I sleep peacefully and quietly and I love it. And and I wake up to the birds in the morning instead of the air of the motor. Choice created awareness. Choice always creates awareness. When you choose something, you find out what it is that's going to do it. It's like with the lithium battery that sent flames through the entire house. That lithium battery had been in my business partner's room in the front of his closet for a year. We took it out and put it in the garage, and then he just moved it over to the other house. And the moment the guy set it down on the floor, it burst into flames and roared through that garage and burned up the entire thing. I was stunned. I had no idea lithium batteries were that volatile, and apparently they are. And there's a lot of stuff about how they explode and they blow up and stuff. And I noticed he had some more batteries in our office, and I said, I want these in the other house. So we use the other house as our guest house. So, who has a $3 million guest house, for Christ's sake? We do. It's okay.
I would love to explore a little bit more in terms of, because you said you explored most religions and cultures and stuff. So what were like the top three things you learned from those
I
experiences?
went to Catholicism. I loved the pomp and circumstances of it. I went to Judaism. I was pretty impressed with the singing and stuff. I went to I went to Methodists, Baptists, Presbyterians, uh, Episcopalians. One of those. I didn't go to a Holy Roller church. My sister did, so I didn't have to. And and I didn't go to one of those places where they had snakes because I hate snakes. So I didn't do that. But I got involved in Scientology, and and when I quit, they declared me a suppressive person, a terrible person. And I would walk down the beach when I lived in Santa Barbara at the time. I'd walk down the beach, and people who had known me from Scientology would take 3 steps backwards and then keep on walking and not look at me. And it's like, how did I become from best friends to a pariah by not following L. Ron Hubbard? I went, this is a cult. They have the right answer and I don't. And it's like, no, it just didn't work for me. It wasn't the right one. They said I had to give up my kid and let him be a derelict on the street. He was 5. I didn't think a 5-year-old should be on the streets because I didn't put enough time in on doing Scientology and making the world a better place by their point of view. I don't do cults. I don't do cult with access. People say we're trying to do a cult. Well, if we are, we're a damn poor example of a cult because we don't tell you how to live your life. We don't tell you what you should do. We don't tell you that you have to do it this way. We say, be aware of what works for you and choose that. Choose your life. Create your life. Choose your life. Create your life. Choose your life. Create your life. And it's like, and we have the point of view that the purpose of access is to empower people to know that they know. If you know that you know, then you can follow you. You don't need to follow anybody else.
Do you think there's a place for a religion or not?
Religion is what each person believes. Yeah, it's like, what do you believe in? I believe in Mother Nature, okay? I consider the greatest church I've ever been to is the Redwoods in California. It's the most peaceful, beautiful, phenomenal place I've ever been. And I went to that, and I was like, this is true beauty. This is true touching God. I felt like the trees were so tall and so old, they touched the ceiling of God's word. And I loved that. And it's like I I've loved horses my whole life. I started riding when I was 2 years old. Okay. My grandfather would throw me up on the back of his team of horses and I'd ride to the barn while he drove me. I did that at age 2. And so horses have always been one of my great loves. I decided I would become part of the Church of Equus. I will love any horse that's willing to come and bring me closer to God. It's like, and I love horses because they do give you that sense. And you have to choose with them and you have to be present with them. And you cannot be, you cannot be out in your other world and you cannot be angry when you're riding a horse. Because horses react to those things and not in a good way. So if you're being present, and you're being you and you're being with the horse, the gift that they give you is this amazing allowance and this ride that you cannot forget. So I belong to the Church of Equus.
Do you think?
And it's like I had a horse that I bought in Costa Rica and I tried to get it in the United States and he didn't pass the test and they were going to send him back or put him to sleep. And I said, send him back. They sent him back and they wanted to put him to sleep there. I said, no, you're not putting him to sleep. I sent him from here. He's coming back to here. And so they kept him and then I had work done on him and I had things done for him. And eventually I got him into the United States. And I got him into the United States, and I said, okay, God, if you get him into the United States for me, I will believe in you. So now I believe in God, the God of Epis.
You mentioned presence there. Do you think people have a hard time being present and fully in the moment?
Being present is very easy because if you're truly present with things, you don't miss things. I don't like missing anything. You know, it's like, can't imagine how horrified I was that I missed that those lithium batteries would go off because I would have moved my car so that even if it burned up, it wouldn't burn my car. But I had a 1960 Buick that was burned to the ground. It was convertible. It was beautiful. And I had a 1977 El Camino that was perfect and only had 42,000 miles on. So I went, oh my God, I just lost these two beautiful cars. And they're just shells now. Everything in them, everything in them, including the gas tanks, all burned. So it's like, it just was not nice. And I hated it. And there were flames leaping 30 feet into the air, coming out the front of the garage through the garage doors. And it's like I was horrified. I was just horrified. But it's like it was amazing to see. It was amazing to experience. And I was devastated that I lost these cars that I loved so much. And then I finally realized, okay, this is going to work out. How's this going to work out to our advantage? And then to find out that the insurance company is going to pay for most everything. It's like, okay, good. We're set. It's all good. I know that all things will be good. All things usually come out good for me. And even the bad things don't turn out bad. They turn out good. This is weird. One of the mantras of Access is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory.
Mm.
All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. One of my first examples of that was I had a son who was an alcoholic, and he'd already destroyed two cars. And he had taken my car and gone out to supposedly get a package of cigarettes and didn't come home all night. So all night long, I just said, I spent years going to prayer lines and everything else to try and get this kid to straighten out. He wouldn't do it. And so I'm sitting there that night and I'm going, okay, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And every time I heard a car door, I would get up and go check and it wasn't him. And I would do that. I did that all night long. In the morning, about 6:30 in the morning, he shows back up. And I said, okay, so what's the deal, kid? He says, I need a program. I want to get straight. What? All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And I got him in a program, and he's sober to this day.
Good.
So it's good.
Mm. What haven't we spoken about in terms of allowance, consciousness, or your work that our audience or our viewers and our listenership need to know?
Well, I mean, there are lots of people. There are people that come and get angry. There's people that come and find everything they want. There are people who come and they find the person they want. They find the thing that they've been looking for their whole lives that they hadn't been able to find before. Because I'm always in the place of the question and asking the question constantly and looking for possibilities. And it's like I had a man and a lady who came to the class and they looked at each other and went, and they both went, what? Are you the one? And the other one said, yes. The two of them got together and they've lived happily for the last 25 years. Cool. I don't have to have them around. Did they do any more classes? No, but they had a great life and they've enjoyed each other thoroughly. If you're enjoying your life, isn't that what it's really about? Enjoying your life? It's like, do you enjoy every minute of your life?
Every minute? Probably not.
Yeah. But I do.
Mm.
Most of the people I know do. We enjoy every minute because we sit with every minute being present with it and going, okay, and what else is possible? Because you ask the question, what else is possible? And something else shows up that you hadn't expected. Something else presents itself. And you go, wow, that's so cool. It's like I was walking down the street in Australia on Oxford Street to go find a place to eat. And I said, okay, buddy, show me where you want to eat. And I'm passing this place, and all of a sudden I trip and I fall down on a stoop at a restaurant. I look up, and it says tapas restaurant, Spanish food in Australia. I'd never seen that restaurant before. I went in, The place looked like it was filled with smoke. I went, what the hell is this? And then I realized it was entities. It had been an opium den for 30 years. And these people had put a restaurant in there and they had nobody coming in to eat because these entities that had died in opium comas were still living there. So I removed all the entities, something I learned how to do. Removed all the entities, the smoke look went away. And from that point on, they were busy forever. And the last time I went there, they said, I'm sorry, we're totally booked. Oh, Mr. Douglas. Yes, you will always have a table here. They kicked somebody out for me to get a table. I was stunned and thrilled.
Thank you for your insights today. I would love to finish by re-talking about your book, and where can people get a copy of your book? Is it available online or
They can get a
bookstores? Yeah.
copy of it going to Access Consciousness, accessconsciousness.com, and we have the book on sale there. I think it's on Amazon. I think it's on a whole lot of other places as well. I don't know. I am not a technical person. As I explained to you, I don't do technical. I always have to have somebody do technical for me because I've killed 3 motherboards on 3 computers so far. So I don't even play with the damn things. My daughter used to say, get out of the room, Dad. You're fucking up the computer. Which I do. I like make it go and do weird things every time I get near it. And so I try to be very calm, cool, and collected around computers because I get frustrated by them. And when I get frustrated, I put out some kind of electrical charge that kills them. So it just is. And so I don't do those. But with allowances, you can be an allowance of something that you don't understand and recognize, okay, I don't understand this. How can I handle this? And you can get somebody to come and hammer it for you. And that's what I do. I'm an allowance of it. I know what I'm not good at. I know what I'm good at. I know what I can be aware of. I know what I can't be aware of. And I am always willing to see a greater possibility. Because, what if life was about the greatest possibility you could have? Well, one of the things that I've done is I've put my attention and my money and everything else into helping Robert Kennedy Jr. become president because he's an independent. Everybody says he can't possibly win. And I keep going, I don't see that he can't possibly win. I think he can win. And I think he's one of the few statesmen we have in the world. We have a lot of politicians who are always promoting their agenda and what's going to work for them and what's going to make their life. And those are politicians. And then we have statesmen. And statesmen are looking for the good of all. How can we create a better world? And this is what I'm interested in. And neither one of our other presidential possibilities, neither Biden nor Trump, are interested in anybody's point of view except their own. RFK is interested in our point of view and wants to help us. So that's who I promote, and that's who I support. And I've got people all over the world who do that. And I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Gary. Finally, do you have any final words of wisdom or a message that you want to leave with our audience today?
Yes. Start with this. You want to create some consciousness in your life? Go, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Good, the bad, the ugly comes with ease, joy, and glory. Not pain, suffering, and glory, which most of us go to, but ease, joy, and glory. Say that 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening. That alone will change your life.
Amazing. Thank you for your wisdom today, Gary. It's been very insightful, and
Thank you.
I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people.
Thank you, Lou. Take care, my friend.
I hope you've enjoyed that episode with Gary Douglas. We've been learning about the art of allowance and what this means for our day-to-day lives. Gary shared some fascinating concepts and insights on the art of allowance and how we can apply it to, as I said, our day-to-day lives. For more from Gary, check out his book on this topic, The Art of Allowance, by clicking the link in the show notes below, which will take you over to Amazon. It's also available in other bookstores, as Gary shared. All the links you need are, again, in the show notes. And I look forward to bringing you the next episode of the show really, really soon.